as well. A serial race winner here as we're about to go racing for 20 minutes. It's the final round here of Season 3, and we're away at the Red Bull Ring. And already it looks like a poor start from Julian. Going up the inside is that Keithley. Manuel Zengaffen's going to sweep around the outside, keep his position there. We saw Julian Kunze going a little bit wide. Everyone through turn 1 nice and cleanly. That is what we like to see. No, it was Yarshall with the good start there, up to P2. In fact, Keithley, he's down to P4. Honzik with a good start. He's past Kunze. Oh my goodness me! People flying past there. And who was that with the early braking? Was that Yarshall? Yeah, he braked way too early. And Keithley took massive advantage of that. He's up to P2. He's past Julian Zengaffenen as well. Yarshall with a massive mistake there this season, all the way down to P4. And speaking of massive mistakes, Kunze as well there, off the track. I wonder whether that was contact with Honzik or not, because Kunze is now down to P13, Rob.
It looked like Yarshall picked up a slowdown penalty, and that caused a lot of chaos in the middle of the field there. And Kunze, the one who lost out the most, down to P13.
Around Rock, should we go? Rock, sorry. No, again, past, think James. Turn 5 and then turn 6, the birth curve through turn 7 now. Heading towards Rint at the end of lap 1 here. Zengaffenen still leads by a healthy second margin, though Jack Keithley is clear. Already his brother has been disposed of, Manuel. As further back, Dreisig here battling away with Zeke and Dobser. Of course, the debutant Dobser as is Dreisig.
Oh, there's been a collision.
Crash there! And who's it? It's Sheehan and Buron. And Sheehan just cannot get out of trouble quickly enough in these races. So often does he threaten to score good points. So often does he throw it away. At the end of lap 1, then, it means that Manuel Zengaffenen leads from Keithley, Julian Zengaffenen, Yarshall Honzik pinches, Reichel looking to score his first points, Maulana looking to challenge Keithley for this championship in league play at least, Kunze, and after that incident, Dreisig up to P9 after just overtaking Kunze.
What a debut from Dreisig.
He's gained like 6 positions in one turn.
Yeah, and he passed the guy who was the fastest in the pre-qualifying. He's considered one of the fastest drivers on race from Julian Kunze. What a debut it is. Oh, Reichel pinches as well.
Just going into battle there further up the road. Of course, Reichel not scored a point. Actually, neither is pinches, to be fair. So a lot on the line here, although Andika Ramamalana, our Indonesian friend, he's going to want to get past quickly as well, since he needs to at least finish ahead of Keithley to even have a chance of taking the #1 position in the standings.
Kunze, meanwhile, has gone back past Marius Dreisig.
That's much needed.
But that's not the start that he was hoping for.
No. Just caught up in that early incident at the top of the hill at Remus. And I'm looking at the top, Rob, and I'm looking at the gap coming down. Oh, is that Maulana looking to go around the outside of pinches? Surely not at turn 1. No, indeed, but he's going to try and get the cut back now. You can already see that he's got the undercut. And remember, in these cars, DRS is available for the first time this year. So if you are within, it's more like a push-to-pass system than Formula 1. But if you're within 2 seconds of the car ahead of you, then you're able to do something along those lines. I don't think Maulana was using his DRS on that particular occasion, but a nice undercut sees his way past Adam Pinches and into P7. Further back up, though, that second advantage that Manuel Zengaffenen had is gone, and Keithley is starting to ramp up the pressure. He wants to take his 4th race win, his final race win of the season, potentially.
Yeah, but I have to say, really strong start by Zengaffenen here. Just kept us cool in the beginning. Oh, he picked up a slowdown penalty.
And that has blown it for him. He loses position to Keithley, his brother, Yarshall, and Honzik makes his way through. And down to P5 after such a valiant effort in qualifying. He is out of the picture, and Jack Keithley almost restoring order to things. He's into P1, although Julian Zengaffenen, he's feeling a little bit hard done by that his brother's fallen all the way back now. He's going to try and mount a challenge for this win.
Yes, and he has the DRS now, of course. Keithley has no slipstream ahead of him. Very good corner by Keithley there. But Zengaffenen should be able to close up a lot in the slipstream, and with the help of the DRS, of course. You can see there the wing is turned on the car of Zengaffenen, number 4. He is using the DRS.
Tries the outside line at Remus, and Keithley defends very well indeed. Again, the Red Bull Ring is a great circuit for racing, Rob, but if you know how to run the defensive lines around this circuit, it is incredibly difficult to overtake. We can see there again on the outside goes Zengaffernan, but seeing an opportunity is Yarshall. He tries to place his car in the right position. Zengaffernan has enough overspeed to keep P2. This lead battle's getting close, and look who's there in P4 once again. Is it deja vu, or is it just a good coincidence? It's Jaroslav Honzik in P4 watching brief.
And last year it was the same situation. Exactly. Oh! Yarshall!
He flies off the track, completely missed the turn. And so back through goes Manuel Zengaffernan. Yarshall back on the road. How many positions is he going to lose from that mistake? Through goes Reichel. Through goes Maulana. He slots back into P7, although he's going to go...
Oh, huge crash!
He gets completely taken out by Maulana, who lost it on exit there, and you've got to feel sorry for Yarshall. Again, it was an incident started by his own doing, going wide in turn 7. But he didn't deserve that. Maulana should have been a little bit careful.
Yeah, that's for sure. And so it started off strong for Yarshall. It looked like he could finally take this podium position, but now it's looking extremely unlikely. What is looking more likely, though, is that Zengaffernan is about to take the lead. As he spins around there, bit of contact by Honzik and down to P4.
I've got a feeling that might have been Honzik's fault. I know Zengaffernan was going for the undercut, but Honzik should have been a little bit more aware, and so all of a sudden it's looking so good for Zengaffernan's Manuel back up into third. But look at Kunze, what a recovery drive this is from him. He was all the way down in P10 at the end of lap 1, and now he's back up into 4th.
When the cover driver is dropping down the order, it's Bunky, and there's been a huge accident involving Bunky and Maulana in turn 3.
Crazy.
The gloves are off in the final race.
You could say that again.
Big damage on the car of Bunky.
That's a face that only a mother could love, unfortunately. Squished in, and for Ben Spunky, who took his first podium of the season this season, in Brands Hatch, of course, down to P15. It's a long race ahead for him now, slotting in behind Shihan. To look back up at the front, though, it's looking better and better for Jack Keithley. He's been able to pull a 1.5 second gap. It's 1 second to 1.5 second fluctuating between himself and Honzik. Of course, Honzik can still use the DRS if he wants to, but there's only limited amount of times you can use that push-to-pass system to drop the rear wing. And there's still 12 minutes left of this race, Rob. I'm sure that if he can remain within those 2 seconds, that he'll want to use it at a later time, as Julian Zengaffernan actually making his way back past Kunze, using the DRS himself. He's back up into P4.
Well, I think there's been an accident as well, a bit further down, as we can see Gemeinhardt there, stranded on the exit off, I think that's turn 1. Waiting for the right moment to re-enter the track, but it's been kind of a chaos race so far, hasn't it?
I said people were going to go for the last podium opportunities. I didn't quite expect to that degree, as we're looking now at Julian Kunze, who's recently been overtaken by Julian Zengaffernan. You've got to watch out for Adam Pinchas as well there. Pinchas has been running a real quiet race there, but he's up to P6. He's made his way back past Michael Reichel. And look, he's picked up some good points as well in this final race, the ACR Zaxby driver. As Kunze just following Zengaffernan neatly through this final sector. He'll surely be looking to line up a return pass, if not down into turn 1, then most certainly into Remus at the top of the hill.
We're not even halfway through the race.
No. There's a lot of stuff to go.
Sideways once again. The Zengaffernan, they are really pushing hard here. Well, I think Pinchas has been off.
Yeah, Pinchas went wide there at turn 1, and he's down to P10, unfortunately. But there is Kunze. He's going to fly past Julian Zengaffernan. And the German is back up into P4. Whereas further back, Pinchas has fallen all the way back down to P10, unfortunately. Now looking at Manuel Zengaffernan, look at the speed. Down that back straight into one of my favourite named corners of all time, Schlossgold. Zengaffernan moves his way into P2, although look at the undercut here from Jaroslav Honzik. These two battling is only going to enable Keithley to move away. And that's a good bit of defensive driving from Honzik, but like I say, they're letting the wind get away from them if they're going to keep battling each other.
Keithley already has won 3 races of the season, including the last 2 races. The form is certainly speaking for Keithley.
Lausitz rings.
No, they're not in the DRS window anymore. If they want to catch up, they pretty much have to wait for a mistake by Keithley.
And when has Keithley ever made a mistake on his own?
Well, we have seen it. Oh, Zengaffernan once again, trying to make a pass on start-finish straight.
That was a mistake from Honzik, wasn't it? Just caught on the outside curbing.
And of course, this gives Honzik now the DRS for this lap.
Did they cross the line in time? I think they did. Is that Honzik with his wing down? I think it might very well be. Yes, it is. Instantly on response. And so up the inside, he'll be on the outside of Rivas. He might actually be ahead once they hit the corner. Indeed, he is. Brakes nice and late. And Honzik continues to hold on to that P2, but continues to allow Jack Keithley to run away.
And here you can see the effect of the wing. Just goes plop, and then you just have a lot less friction there with the air.
Keep
gives
in mind,
you a
though,
better
Rob,
top speed.
well, I was going to say, keep in mind, though, Rob, there's only the top 10 are the only people who are going to be scoring points. And we've talked about how P6 in the standings might actually be quite important, as Tim Yarsel here is going to fly past Hazik there for P8. But P6 might end up being quite an important place in the standings if one person can't make it to the land final. Jaroslav Honzik, as things stand, would be in that P6 position after overtaking Bence Banki.
Yes, Banki here, the car in the foreground, currently P13. It looks very unlikely that he can score points, especially if he gets passed by Jihan here.
Oh, good battle. But yeah, he does remain ahead for now. Yeah, it's 25, 18, 15. That is the point structure for the podium. So Honzik, at the very least, looking to score 15 points. There's an 11-point gap between him and Banki. There's a 5-point gap between him and Yarshall behind. Obviously, the more points you score in this position, the better. But Manuel Zangaffinen looking to pay a little dent into that one. Zangaffinen going a little bit wide. And this is just going to allow Honzik the undercut once again. Zangaffinen's not had too bad an exit, but he's got the poorer line. Honzik, though, choosing to stay a little bit more conservative. As I say, the 15 points as it stands is enough to see him clear of Bence Banki by 4 points. And Bence Banki being down there in 13, how far is he off a point? He's 4 seconds off a point. He's 6 seconds off 9th. With the better part of 8 minutes to go, I should say, he is going to need a hell of a lot of luck go his way.
Yes, but mistakes can happen easily. We've seen it all race. Especially with these battles being quite close here. At least for P2 between Zangaffinen and Honzik. I think the battle for P3 gone a little bit calmer now. Kunze ahead of Julian Zangaffinen now.
So up the hill we go then for yet another run of it. Honzik clouts the inside curbing as well, and he gets really loose. His lights are flashing. I wouldn't lower the rear wing if I was him. I don't think he's got the opportunity to anyway. And Zangaffinen's going to have a free run. Oh, he did lower the wing. Yeah. Interesting. Real interesting.
You have to be a little bit careful when you lower the wing, because if you're still in an area where you can get wheel spin, or if you're driving through a fast corner, you can easily lose the car.
Seems very strange to me. I don't know. Further back, Shihan. Still battling away with Banki. Turkish driver defence for now.
Someone's been off there.
Someone's been off, yeah, and Shihan really distracted by the smoke. Awful exit.
I think it was Yarshall who's in P11 now.
Yeah. Gifts Banki the position either way. Banki up to P13. Good battle between these two, but again, we should be seeing them in the battle for points, and they're nowhere near it, unfortunately.
Yes, and that's been the story for Jihan, at least in the whole season. And he has a lot of potential. He just can't quite use it in the races. He's just involved in too many little accidents that, make him drop back further in the field.
Does it get to a point, Rob, where if you keep on getting involved in incidents, you have to more look at yourself than the other drivers around you, because there's only so much luck that you can lose in a race. You've got to be in the right place at the right time to not be hit, if you get what I'm saying.
Well, of course, luck is also a factor, and also how aggressive you drive and how aggressive you treat your opponents in the race. But I think what's also very important is the starting position, and Jihan is just a driver who's always around P7, P8 in the qualifying, and that's just an area where a lot of incidents can happen, because you've got a lot of cars ahead of you and a lot of cars behind you. Now though, that's Yarshall, that's not Kunze. Kunze has been past Jihan and Dobster, and Yarshall has dropped back even further with the 85.
He's fallen apart, hasn't he?
Yeah.
again, it's the pressure getting to him. I wouldn't be so quick to judge, but again, he's young and he was looking to fight for a win. All of a sudden, now just looking to scrap away. But points and Sheehan there, punting round Richard Dobson. And case in point, sometimes you've got to look at yourself, unfortunately, Emre.
Let's talk about the happy stories of this race, though. Let's talk about Michael Rechel, who is about to take his first points in the Mercedes-AMG eRacing competition if he keeps the 6th position, and behind him, Marius Dreisig, the debutant, in 7th.
He qualified P15 or 14, wasn't it?
Most definitely.
Just goes to show.
I think he only got in over the reserve list as well into the event, because Davide Toccacelli couldn't attend because of missing parts from his steering wheel. Of course, they drive with the steering wheel from home. It's a video game. I've seen the question a lot of times in the chat. Yes, it is Race from Racing Experience. Video game for PC. You can get it for free on Steam. And Julian Sengaffenen just got another position, back up into 4th place ahead of Julian Kunze.
Kunze's really struggled for pace this race, hasn't he?
Well, for a moment it looked like he was flying because he caught up so quickly once again and moved himself back up into 4th, but against Sengaffenen, he's, surely found a driver who can go at the very least the same pace, and with the DRS it works as an equalizer. One lap one driver has it, next lap the other one has it.
Although that said, we're starting to run out of that pendulum swing, or the time allotted to have that pendulum swing, since it's less than 3.5 minutes now until the end of this race. Jack Keithley just coming across the line now. We're going to see 2 more laps, I want to say. 3 maybe?
I think we will see 3 more laps. Yeah. And we haven't really talked about Jack Keithley, but yeah, once again, waited for the mistakes of other drivers, just did his own race. A little bit aggressive in the beginning, but with this form curve of Jack Keithley, what are you going to do about it? Is he finally going to win the final event?
He was taken out of that lap final in Season 2, but you can't deny he has been on an incredible tear. If he wins this race, that's 4 race wins in his last 5. It's 3 on the bounce. This has been very good for him.
Only 1 race to go then at the grand final at the Hockenheimring, when they're all racing on the same equipment, all sitting next to each other and next to the real DTM drivers. I'm sure last year still haunts Jack Keithley when he was taken out in an accident with Heinemann and Revenack. We'll both be there again this year in the final.
Of course, looking to be joined by new faces as well.
Like Maulana, for example, who's only 9th in this race. Yashel into the back of Baron there.
And Baron, I think, a little bit unlucky there to be punted off. He loses another position to Gemeinhardt. What's our analysis of Tim Yashel, Rob? Young, still time to grow, but a lot to prove in future seasons, in future years to come.
Yes, and sometimes it looks like he's driving extremely maturely, but unfortunately in this race it shows that he still has some things to learn. Oh, in the background there, did you catch that? The Gaffney just went all the way wide there and has to let Kunze through. Kunze now into P4 and with the DRS, so that's bad news for Julian Sengaffney.
So this is the penultimate lap of the race then, and the advantage to Kunze at least. We're back up to Jaroslav Honzik, though, who's been slowly turning the screw on Manuel Sengaffinen. He might not be looking to challenge for a race win today, Honzik, but P2 would not only be close enough, it would also be an absolute hammer blow to everyone in that P6 battle. If something was to happen, if a visa wasn't to be accepted, if there was to be a conflict of time or, a misscheduling, that P6 is such a crucial position, and Honzik could be about to pull the most backdoor entries into this land final. Of course, he'd love to take P2 on track just in any case. Now looking from the rear wing of Manuel Sengaffinen, he's in a precarious position as we're about to enter the final lap of this race.
As a Bunky only 1 place away from the points, it looks quite unlikely that he can get the points here in this race, but you never know, maybe Honzik wants to decide it himself and just get past Sengaffinen. Yeah, Sengaffinen goes over the curve and that could be a slowdown penalty.
That was just a really good corner as well from Honzik. He took that as cleanly as I've seen all day long. He's up the inside, and surely this is going to be P2 for Jaroslav Honzik. Indeed it is. The Czech driver moving up into P2. Magnus and Gaffney almost pushing him round Remus, and now he's going to be in a decent position because he's going to be able to use the DRS himself to try and push back. Although look at Honzik, he's got DRS as well from Keithley ahead, so just for a small moment he was able to pick that up and defend into Schloss Gold. That could not have come at a more perfect time.
I think Honzik will have DRS for the remainder of the lap because he passed Zengafnen after the line. So it's looking very tough for Zengafnen. He needs a little miracle now in the final sector if he wants to take the second position. Meanwhile, his brother Julian Zengafnen has closed up once again to Kunze. Let's see if something can happen there. We have to go to Jack Keithley, to the man who's dominated the race. Once again, the Englishman driving for the ACR Zaxby team in the car of Christian Vitores. Comes through the final corner, and it is going to be his third win in a row, fourth win of the season, and the online title for Jack Keithley. Congratulations.
Big statement going into that LAN final. Behind him, Jaroslav Honzik picks up 2 podiums in 2. Really good drive from roughly the same place he started last season. Manuel Zengafnen from pole. I think he'll be happy to take a podium. But it's a case of, oh, what if? What if he had kept it together? Behind, Kunze picks up a solid P4 with Julian Zengafnen a solid P5. Michael Reichel does score points in Season 3. Left it to the last race. That's a healthy amount as well with P6. What about Marius Dreisig, of course? P7 on his debut, a strong showing from the lower end of the grid. And Dika Ramamalana disappointing down in P8. He was nowhere all day. Hazik, Malaysia picks up more points there in P9, and Adam Pinches picks up his first point as well in the MERC. P10 for the Hungarian, just beating out Emre Sheehan and Tim Yarshall, both with very disappointing evenings at the office. Ben Spunky, of course, our only retirement.
Yes, and we missed that. We missed what happened to him because he was running in 11th position, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Spunky lost his 6th place in the standings. He's going to drop behind Honzik and probably also behind Zengafnen. We will figure that out in the aftermath of the race. But once again, congratulations, Jack Keithley. What a season it was. Didn't start off so well, but strong finish in the end. And he scores the most points in the online season, and he goes into the live final with a large amount of confidence.
And unless there are any